And we are live. How is everybody doing? A special live stream here on June 23rd, 5:47 p.m. Pacific time. It's Andrew back again with another live stream here again. This is to talk about today's announcement from Lenovo, which of course is the Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 4. Hopefully you can hear me and see me okay. It's Andrew here back again. And how does it look? How does it sound? I kind of had to rush back from my office to get to the studio to get this going. I didn't want to make it too late because of I don't normally do it this time, but I thought it was newsworthy, and I wanted to talk about what was announced today. So it looks good and sounds good. Okay, that's good, Umar. Good to see Lethal Emperor here. We can lower the music at this point and let's get right to business. Coming up, yeah, that is right, Lethal Emperor. Coming up. Okay, and the countdown. Yeah, the countdown's already begun. The cool weather, Duck Vision. How are you, my friend? Is false hope. Yeah, a little break from that hot weather. That's exactly right, William. A little bit of a surprise. Enjoying the cool weather. Hopefully you're doing well. We got Chocolate Caramella here. Fan Lee once again in the house, just chilling. All right. And Shy Brains is saying this is what Shy Brains has been waiting for. Victor Vera is here. Is good. Looks good. Hopefully sounds good as well, Victor. So let's get right to business here. We've got, let's see how many of you watching. We've already got 30 of you watching. I don't know who's going to show up. I know we did the Dell XPS 15 and 17 that was just announced back on Sunday at our normal time. And we've got almost 12,000 views on that. Really did well. Concurrent viewers, we had, I think, 291, which is great. So another good announcement tonight. So I wanted to do something tonight. You wish it was cool there on the Texas border. Yeah, 106. Here it's still hot, but not quite as hot as it was this past week, and it was really record-breaking, actually. So hopefully that will stay this way, that it won't be that hot. But, you know, this is Las Vegas. we're going to have the hot weather, whether we like it or not. Now, do me a favor before we get started here. Hit that like button, people. Hit that thumbs up. Let's get this spread out over YouTube. And also, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, why don't you go ahead and do so? This way, this will help grow the channel, of course. Make sure you hit that notification bell. This way, you'll get alerted every time I upload a new video. I got a good one coming, hopefully tomorrow. I should be ready by tomorrow. I got the HP Envy 17, which I'm really enjoying. And then, of course, I got a lot of other stuff coming that I can't talk about just yet, but we got a lot up ahead, so make sure you are subscribed. Now, super chats, super stickers are open, of course, to help support the channel. Memberships are open as well, so if you want to help support the channel, hit that join button below. So far, we have 17 likes. We need to get that like button up. Yeah, Lethal Emperor, I'm really liking it, actually, and if we have a little bit of time today, maybe I'll give you a little sneak peek at it. I did post something on Twitter today, so hopefully that that's something you guys are interested in. Now, what I have here on the desk is the last gen, which is the the ThinkPad X1 Extreme Gen 3. I took a look at this the last time, of course, and this has the OLED display. There are going to be some changes with the Extreme Gen 4. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But we're also going to talk about what are the differences between Gen 3 and Gen 4. Now, the key things here, and I'm going to bring up, let me get my notes here. Let me get to the downloads here. Just give me a second. Kind of didn't have really time to prepare everything in advance like I normally do, but we should have everything here to help me out. So what we're looking at now, again, this is last gen, this is Gen 3, but this will give us a good starting point to talk about this stuff. And then we can take a look at what was announced today. So what they announced today, and let me see if I could bring in the PDF. Just give me a second here. And you can actually see it on the screen here. In fact, I can make it a little bit bigger so everybody can see what we're looking at here. So this is the Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Extreme Gen 4. And as you can see here, this is what was announced. And what they're talking about here is the 11th Gen Core up to 11th Gen Core i9 V Pro. That's the H series processor from Intel. It's got up to an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3080, which is a big surprise. I didn't expect it in this form factor, but that is a pretty robust GPU. So we'll get into that a little bit as well. Up to 4 terabytes of storage with the Gen 4 performance of the PCIe SSD, bringing all that power, according to this, to a new 16-inch 16:10 panel, which is a move away from the 16:9. We'll get into that as well. And there also will have ultra-thin bezels, Dolby Vision as far as that display is concerned, and a larger user-facing Dolby Atmos speakers, so that they're going to be top-firing speakers this time around. You're also going to get Wi-Fi 6E, or 6 is 6E, right? 6E. Obviously, you could also get this with 5G, which is also great. 5G is something I'm looking forward to. This also has a larger battery. It now sports a 90 watt hour battery, and that's another improvement that we wanted to see. So hopefully we'll see better battery life. I'm not really sure with all that power under the hood how the battery life is going to be. So those are just some of the highlights here. And you can see here in the shots here, you're going to see mobile mastery. X1 Extreme delivers go everywhere experience with productivity. So let's talk about the display. We're looking at a 16-inch Dolby Vision display. And here you can see some of the specs on the screen. Hopefully you can read it okay. You're looking at, like I said, the 11th Gen Core i9 with V Pro H series processor, and that obviously is going to be really good. Now, this is all going to come in at about, I think, starting at about $2,200, I believe, and it will be available in August. There is no OLED variant this time around. What I have here, this is the OLED variant, and I can take this down for a moment. I could always bring that back. You have the OLED display here. From last year. We don't get it this time around because this is a 16:9 aspect ratio where they're now moving to a 16:10 aspect ratio, which is great. Now, as far as what's user upgradable, we can bring in here an image here. You can see on the lower corner there, you'll see that it does have upgradable RAM. There are 2 RAM slots. There are also upgradable SSD. You'll see that 90 watt hour battery. And the other big change here, and we'll talk more about this as we take your questions and comments, is a move to the vapor chamber cooling. As you can see here, that is different than Gen 3, which did not employ vapor chamber cooling. So Fan Lee, you're right. This is not a 16:9. We're going now to 16:10. Good to see Tech Realm here. Gen 4 Extreme seems much improved. I agree with you. That's why I wanted to do this live stream. I'm very excited about it. I will be getting one into the studio. I just don't have the exact date as of yet. But it will be coming, as of course I always do. According to Duck Vision, most ThinkPads use Thunderbolt. Lenovo does have some AMD machines coming out, and that's going to be the big question, and was the big question I received when we looked at the Dell XPS 17 and the 15 last week at the regularly scheduled live stream. Why there is no AMD? We don't see AMD on this X1 Extreme Gen 4 either. and it's going to be Thunderbolt 4 is one of the key reasons, of course. You also have to understand that Intel owns the intellectual property of the Thunderbolt technology, and they're not going to, they have not licensed it out to AMD for whatever reason, for obvious reasons, I guess, for competition reasons. They didn't want to do that. It's their prerogative, but there is no Thunderbolt support. And you're going to say, well, what's the big deal about Thunderbolt support? Well, the big deal is Thunderbolt support gives you the ability to connect to Thunderbolt docks, which of course opens up a whole other realm. And then of course, multiple 4K monitors or even 8K monitors. And you could also connect to external GPUs. Again, these are things that may not be applying to everybody, but business users who are looking at this are definitely going to want some of those features, of course. I would love to see an AMD processor in this, or at least an option to have AMD. We don't see it here. And that is just the way it is right now. Will that change in the future? Perhaps. I know these OEMs are talking with AMD. I know that for a fact. Dell, Lenovo, HP, they've all been talking to them. So we'll see what happens. Now, it does have USB 4 on this. So there's no reason why USB 4 cannot be opened up to do some of the things that Thunderbolt 4, but it hasn't been enabled on anything. I haven't seen anything yet to work with AMD to effectuate that, but that's where we are right now. Right now we have 53 of you watching. Okay, I didn't expect a lot of people today, so we'll see what happens. I didn't expect so many people on Sunday, and we did get quite a bit. This is not our normal time. I know a lot of you, this is not going to be convenient as far as the time frame, but that's unfortunately, this is, I have a day job, and this was the only time I could do it, and I wanted to do it now because it is timely, and it was announced today, and I'm no longer under embargo. It lifted this morning. Now, the speakers are upgraded, finally. They are now top-firing speakers. So if we take a look at what we had on Gen 3, and I have that here, of course, you can see there are no grills here. Now we're going to get grills there. The other thing you'll notice is the fingerprint scanner there. That has now moved to the power button, which is now going to double with the fingerprint scanner. It's going to be now in the same place, of course. The power button will double as a fingerprint scanner. You're going to get a larger touchpad as well, and you'll also get that great ThinkPad keyboard. Absolutely love it on this one. No issues whatsoever as far as I'm concerned. I'm glad that's going to come back. LTE, it's going to be backwards compatible. You only can get this with 5G, which is backwards compatible with 4G LTE. Of course, you're going to pay a premium to have that, but it is available, and I know a lot of companies want it for their fleets, and they want to be able to send the people out into the road and to have always connections to get work done. According to Than, AMD is the MSG of laptops. Intel's the opposite of MSG. It's like baked bean. Okay, that's, I guess, one way to put it. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. Right now, we don't get AMD on this. We're getting Intel and their 8 series processors. Now, what we are going to get is up to an RTX 3080 GPU. No, we're going to talk. Okay, we're going to talk about the camera as well. We're going to see a 1080p camera, by the way. We'll get into that in a moment. But we're also seeing up to a 3080 GPU, and that means you're going to have an option for a 230 watt slim tip power adapter that supports rapid charge according to this material. Duck Vision said they're keeping the 720p on the Extreme Gen 4. No, I think they said it was a 1080p. Let me go back to here to make sure. I remember the briefing is said 1080p. I hope I'm not hearing things. Let me see. Let me do a search here. Let me see. Control F. Camera. It's a full HD camera. So that means it's going to be 1080p. So that's good news. And that's going to be the same as the P1. So that's good news. This is for sure an exciting machine, according to Payman. This is an exciting machine. I'm just a bit worried about the thermals with the RTX 3080. Now, again, they're going with, and I can show you here, they're going with vapor chamber cooling on this. This is different. So hopefully that will be a good solution. Again, until I get a review unit in, we won't know. Why do laptop companies put a 1080p camera only, but Microsoft Surface does? Well, they're putting a 1080p camera in this. Where are you seeing 720p, people? There's nothing in the materials released today. So they're saying full HD camera. So that means it's 1080p. If it was HD, it would be 720p. This is a 1080p camera. Let's get that straight. Unless I'm wrong, unless I'm not seeing something here. Lots of materials show HD 720p. The material I received from Lenovo, Duck Vision, says full HD, the new full HD camera. And I remember they talked about it at the press conference that I attended. So it is definitely a full HD camera. If you're reading HD 720p, I don't think that's correct. But that could be a typo, but that's not what was told to me. Okay, so it's full HD, but we'll see once I get a review unit in, right? So hopefully we'll get that full HD camera in there, because a lot of these companies are now having employees working from home, and they're definitely going to want to have that ability. Okay. All right, where are we right now? So right now we are at 16 minutes and 56 seconds. For those joining late, we're talking about the newly announced ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 4. That was just announced. At starting price of around, I think, $2,300 will be available in August. I should be getting a review unit. So the Executor Raptors joining us very late for you. Starts at 3 a.m. I listen. There's replays. You don't have to stay up. But I wanted to do this timely news since they did release and announce this today for the X1 Extreme Gen 4. Not the X1 Carbon, but Extreme. I don't know what you're talking about. Antonio saying, is it possible to spec it with just integrated graphics? That is a good question. I don't know about that. Let me go take a look here. So you can get up to a Core 11th Gen Core i9 V Pro with H series. Now, as far as graphics, yes, it says integrated UHD graphics, I guess, as an option. Why you would want to do that? It's not XE graphics, of course. I don't know, because you can get it with, according to this, integrated Intel UHD graphics, NVIDIA RTX 3050 Ti. You can get it with the RTX 3060, RTX 3070, and the RTX 3080. And you can see that here. On the specs right here on the display right now. And let me see if I could just make this full screen. Well, not really there. And you can pretty much gather that from there. So you can see there, those are the specs. All right, so those are your options when it comes to the graphics. I like the keyboard, but a number keyboard might, a numeric, I like the keyboard, but a number keyboard might be better. So you're talking about, David, a numeric keypad or numpad. You don't get that here. And you don't get it either on the Dell, by the way. Now, the display, QHD is a good choice. That would be your entry-level choice. There's two types. You could do QHD Plus or a UHD Plus. There is no OLED option. But the 4K model would kill battery life. I do have a 4K OLED here. Again, no OLED on the new ones, but this one has an OLED display, and I love it. It's a great choice. It also supports pen. As you can see, it's a touch display, and it does support pen, by the way, for those that didn't know. And I don't know if the touch model in the new one will support pen, but we'll see. But there will be no, there is no OLED 16 option at this point offered by Lenovo. Battery life is your top priority, so that I would go with the QHD Plus. It does have a bigger battery. We're now looking at a 90 watt-hour battery, which is up from last year's. I don't remember what it was. I think it was like 78 or something like that. But now you're up to 90 from what I understand, what they're saying. And that is good. So, but they're only touting, as far as battery life, I think about 10.2 hours or something like that. Again, you're going to draw a lot of power with, especially if you go with a 3080 GPU. That definitely will take more power. The bigger battery to get longer battery life on a desktop replacement is very good. So you definitely want to see that. This is a great all-around laptop choice, and I think it's something that they definitely want to promote on that. That's for sure. I'm trying to think of what else that they announced today that is different. So I think we covered most of it. The keyboard now, the as I mentioned, the fingerprint scanner is now will be located to the power button rather, and it's going to still retain. It's going to have a 1.5 millimeters of keystroke on the keyboard. This is a very good keyboard, people, and I don't expect it to be any different. Hopefully, it won't be less key travel in terms of feel, but we'll see in terms of when we do get it in. Now, the other thing that they're talking about is this carbon fiber weave on the cover, and this one is going to be a little bit different. Let's go to this camera. It's going to be a little bit more pronounced, a little bit more pizzazz, or it'll pop a little bit more. And they just did a little bit different with the design on it. It'll be smooth like this, but it'll also show a little bit more as to differentiate it from the basic black that we get from the other models. But if you go with I think the UHD Plus model, you will get that carbon fiber weave. And you can see it here, the one from the previous gen. You can see the fingerprints on it, of course, but then you also see the weave on it. These do attract fingerprints, of course. The black does, and of course the carbon fiber weave will attract fingerprints on these. All right, let's see. We have 32 likes, but we have 55 of you or 60 people watching. People, hit that like button. Let's get this spread out over YouTube. Let's see. Crazy, according to Duck Vision, crazy that the P1 Gen 4 will have a RTX A5000 16 gigabyte option 2. I should be getting that as well, Duck. So stay tuned. I love the P1 workstation. We're going to get to that Gen 4. That is going to be great. I can't wait to get my hands on that as well. According to Executor Raptor, did they say what kind of charging port there will be? So the ports, let's go over the ports real quick. Let me just see here. So connectivity, you're going to get two USB-A 3.2 Gen 1 ports, two Thunderbolt 4 ports, an SD card reader, full size, an HDMI 2.0 slash 2.1, and then you also get your audio combo, headphone, microphone combo jack. I don't see, it's going to have a slim tip AC adapter. So that tells me that I think it's going to not be USB-C. So I think it's going to be proprietary because I don't know if you can get a 230 watt USB-C power adapter. I know Dell does it, but they do 130 watts, even though it's limited to the 100 that we've seen. That was one of the issues with the power drain. So it's showing up to a 230 watt power adapter. It's a slim tip. So I would imagine, and let me see if we can see any of the ports here. And I don't know if we can see it on that side. Maybe on this one. They're only showing the right side. So it would probably, of course, be on the left like it is on this one. So I'm imagining, or I'm pretty much, not imagining, but I'm pretty much anticipating it being a proprietary. It's a great port selection. Yeah, I agree. This or the P1. So the P1 is going to be very similar in a lot of regards, but you're going to be able to get certain Xeon processors with that, and you also get a different GPU option as well. We're going to get into that when I do get my review unit on the P1, which hopefully will be coming very soon. Now, the touchscreen option is only for the 4K or the UHD Plus. That is a touch display. It's IPS, as I mentioned, 3840 by 2400. It's a 600 nit display that they're touting as 100% Adobe coverage on that color gamut. HDR 400, Dolby Vision, 60 hertz. It's also got low blue light. I think they all have low blue light filter. The QHD Plus is going to be the entry level display. That one is a non-touch 2560 by 1600. 400 nit display, 100% sRGB. They're all claimed at 100% sRGB. Oh, well, actually, no, that one is 100% sRGB. They're not saying anything about Adobe, excuse me. 60 hertz, low blue light. The second tier, you're looking at a UHD Plus non-touch, 3840 by 2400, 600 nits like the touch model, and also 100% Adobe RGB, just like the touch model. So the touch is only available on the UHD Plus model. All right. 600 nits is pretty good. It's a pretty good brightness. I don't know until we measure it what exactly we're going to get as far as the actual numbers, but anything over even 400 at this rate, at this level, will be good. I want to see over 500, of course. That'll be great. 600 would be even better. Duck is saying that the P1 Gen 4 is showing the proprietary charge port like Gen 3. Yes. So you can have that being charged with the proprietary port. It also will support charge via the Thunderbolt 4 ports. So that'll be another way for you to charge as well. So you have a lot of options when it comes to charging. All right, according to Duck Vision, since Lenovo doesn't have the Extreme Gen 4 on their site, you can use the P1 Gen 4 since they're similar. Physically, they'll be similar. I don't think there's any difference, but as far as physically, but again, there are some options that will be only available to the P1 for professional use that they'll need. Okay, so according to William, by not relying on the USB-C charging port, they do not have the power limiting problems like Dell. Exactly. Since this has a powerful graphics card, it makes sense to go with a proprietary connector. And especially if the connector, of course, is going to have to drive 230 watts. So yes, USB-C won't support that. You need to go with the proprietary. And they're calling that slim tip. It looks pretty much just like a USB-A port. I always get those confused when I try to plug in a USB-A plug and I put it into the wrong port, so to speak. So yeah, but it does give you a lot of options, that's for sure. So here what we're looking at, if those joining us late, this is a Gen 3. This is an OLED model. This is a 4K 16:9 aspect ratio. We're now moving on the new models with Gen 4 to 16:10 aspect ratio, which means you'll do less scrolling when it comes to web browsing. You're going to have more of a view on the display at once, so that's good. And Duck Vision is agreeing with William. From what I heard, Dell has to sabotage the performance on the XPS devices so it does not drain the battery. So yes, that was a big issue with the Dell. We talked about it on Sunday's live stream, which of course is live as a replay. In fact, you can take a look. This is the 17. I just want to show you on my other desk. I have a camera set up over there. You can see the Dell XPS 17. It's a little bit dark. I should probably put another light on there. I forgot to turn it on. But you can see the beautiful IPS display that the Dell XPS 17, that's the 9700. The 9710 will be coming very soon. I should be getting my review unit. So there you go. Now look at the bezels on the Dell. And then, of course, you look at the bezels on the X1 Extreme Gen 3. It's a little bit thicker, but the bezels will be slimmed down, I believe, on the 16-inch display of the Gen 4. The X still looks fresh. Yeah, you know, I got to say that it does look actually really good, right? That is a gorgeous display, and it's not OLED. What they were able to do on that IPS display is pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. So according to Executor Raptor, if they don't price themselves out of the European market like Dell did with their $3,000 XPS laptops, which is what we're looking at here, I can see this being a big hit. So price-wise, when we get back to the X1 Extreme Gen 4, they're saying it's going to start, I think, $2,300. I don't remember the exact amount, but it will be available in August. And yeah, I mean, it's looking good, people. This is almost like a dream laptop. Of course, the proof will be in the pudding. As I get a review unit in, we'll know for sure. But this is really got me excited. Now, we got 41 likes, but we have 73 people watching. People, hit that like button. This is embarrassing. How can I have all these 72 people watching with only 41 likes? Come on. Don't make me look bad, people. Let's get this spread out over YouTube. All right. So I want to know your thoughts about it. What do you think about the Dell, not only the Dell that we looked at, but of course what we're talking about today, the Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Extreme Gen 4. Listen, you're going to have to pay. You want to play, you're going to have to pay. That's my motto. Yeah, it's expensive, but so are MacBook Pros, so are the Dell XPS 17s and 15s, and so are these other premium devices. You're going to have to pay to play. Now, if it's above your budget, look at the AMD offerings. There are some great ones, of course, but there you go. Guys, hit the likes. I like that ER Pro. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's not cheap. None of this is cheap, but of course, remember, these are ThinkPads. They're business-focused laptops. They are geared towards businesses. Consumers love them as well, but they're going to have to, they don't care so much price as it is features and being the right tool for the right project. Did they say anything about coatings to reduce fingerprints and even what they did, even further than what they did with Gen 3? So very good point. I don't think yes, they say, according to this press material, and you're talking about the fingerprints on the coating here, from the new anti-fingerprint paint to the Power On Touch fingerprint reader, the ThinkPad X1 Extreme Gen 4 has been redesigned to impress, according to this press material. New features like 16:10 UHD+, full HD camera, there you go, there's that full HD camera, 4-sided narrow bezels, and a carbon fiber weave top cover. That is according to the press material. And we got our first super chat of the day, and that is, of course, from ER Pro. And thank you, ER Pro, for that $5 super chat. I really do appreciate it. People, hit that like button. Let's take ER Pro's advice and let's do it. Mobile workstations can't be cheap. No, the P1's not going to be cheap either. That's going to come in. Again, professionals are looking at these. I absolutely love the P1. P1's going to be physically identical to the exterior on what we have with the Gen 4. This is a Gen 3 for those joining us late. 230 watts. Yeah. So that's going to be the, what's going to need to drive a 3080 GPU up to a 230 watt slim tip power adapter that supports rapid charge, according to that. I'm glad you like it, Pratik. Thank you so much, my friend. All right. All those PCI 4 SSD, what? Are those 4 SSDs 7,000 megabits per second each? I don't know exactly. Let me see what they're saying. They're saying up to 4 terabytes total. You get 2 M.2 2280 PCIe NVMe Gen 4 performance SSD. So there are 2 slots for you to have your storage slots. So there you go. So you can upgrade it. You don't need to buy the max storage. You can upgrade it yourself. And then let me show you the interior again of it. I have a screenshot here. In fact, I don't need to be on it. Let me go back here. And then if I go here, you can see this clearly. Vapor chamber cooling here. You could also see the dual fans. This is different. Now, there are going to be spots for the 2 NVMe. There are 2280s for the SSDs. You also got 2 RAM slots. You also have the 90 watt-hour battery. That's going to be a larger battery as well. Okay, and they're also going to have improved speakers. They're going to go now with top-firing speakers as opposed to bottom-firing. Since this is geared towards business users who crunch numbers, it would have been nice if they added a full-size 10-key option. I think the reason they didn't, and one of the reasons might be, is because they have the 2 grills now on the top that will have the speaker grills. So that's one reason maybe they didn't do it. They didn't have it in the Gen 3, so I don't see, they're not going to have it in the Gen 4, apparently. So there you go. But yeah, William, I totally hear you on that. Will the RAM function at 3200 instead of being slowed down to 2933? I don't know until I get it in. They're showing on the specs, it's going to be up to 64 gigabytes of GDDR4, 3200 megahertz RAM. It's non-ECC, and there are 2 SODIMM slots. So as we discussed, and again, you'll see it here in this image right here that I took from Lenovo. So you can see here. Now the thing is going to be that vapor chamber cooling, and you see that where in between the fans, that's vapor chamber cooling, and that will hopefully help with something like an RTX 3080 GPU, which will obviously generate a lot of heat due to its sheer power. This or the Dell 5760, that is the question. Well, that's going to be another interesting question. I did the 5750, which is their mobile workstation equivalent. I can bring in the Dell XPS 15 also on here to show you the differences between the two. But here is, again, this is the Dell XPS 17. Let me bring in the 15. So let me get this on here. And you can see here, and let me move this over a little bit. This was announced, of course, the the 9510 Dell XPS 15, and you can see a little bit of a comparison between these two 15-inch laptops. And we're going to get the new one coming in hopefully soon. I did a live stream this past Sunday, did very well. A lot of people showed up, a lot of replays as well. Really a lot of interest in the Dells. You can see the slimmer bezels on the Dell as opposed to the Lenovo here. Again, slimmer bezels with the new move to the 16:10 on the Gen 4 of the X1 Extreme. So that's going to be good. All right, let's see what other questions. Dell seriously needs to lower the price for the XPS 17. I mean, it is gorgeous. I mean, it is gorgeous. There's the 17 right there. And that's my desk, by the way, the back of the studio. So I'm in the front of the studio, or that's the back, or you want to call it vice versa. But I actually put a camera there, and now I can use my cameras a little bit. I got my switcher here. I've got my A10 Mini here. Extreme, and you're going to see a video on that very soon. But that is how I'm showing you all this. So if you want to see the Dell XPS 17 is there, and here you have the XPS 15 9500 and the Lenovo ThinkPad Extreme X1 Extreme Gen 3. We're going to get the 4 and hopefully very soon. I'm late to the parties. What are the specs of what you have there? David, it's real quick. You're going to get up to a Core, and I don't have it here yet. That's going to be the Gen 4. This is the Gen 3. Up to 11th Gen Core i9 vPro H series processor, up to an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3080. You can get this with a full HD 1080p camera with the webcam, and it also has a privacy shutter. I didn't mention that earlier. So we're now getting a 1080p full HD webcam. Up to 64 gigabytes of DDR4 3200 non-ECC RAM. There are 2 SODIMM slots for you to upgrade yourself. Up to 4 terabytes of total storage. That's 2 M.2 2280 PCIe NVMe Gen 4 SSD slots. Up to 10 hours of battery life. A bigger battery, according to this. It's a 90 watt-hour battery, to give the recap for those joining us late. You can get this with up to a slim tip 230 watt power adapter. That's going to have that proprietary connector because, again, driving power of something like an RTX 3080. Those are just some of the big changes, people, to the X1 Extreme Gen 4. And you could tell I'm excited. I think this is going to be a good one. And the limited power on the Dell. So the Dell does have limited power because they're going with the USB-C charger, which limits it, I believe, to 100 watts, even though they have a 130 watt power adapter listed. So Duck Vision's pointing out to a link to the Lenovo site. I guess is that for the ThinkPad P15 Gen 2. I have that, by the way, Duck. I do have the P15. I didn't get to it yet. I do have the P15. I have the 15S mobile workstation coming up. So stay tuned. And it's here in the studio. We can take a look at it if we have time. Executor Raptor, from my experience working with Lenovo, their ThinkPad Extremes are not designed with number crunchers in mind. From what I got from Lenovo, it's meant for data analysts, developers, video editors. And I kind of get that feeling as well. Without that numpad there, kind of makes sense, right, Executor? So thank you for that. My comment for the P15S was regarding a ThinkPad with a 10 key. I do have that here. Just that reminded me because I'm so behind. I do have the P15S. I just can't get to everything, people. I just have so many limited amount of hours a day, and I got so much coming in right now. It's just fast and furious. So the Lenovo P series has the same chassis as the Gen Extreme. Not exactly. So the P1 will have the same chassis as something like this, okay? So let me zoom out here a little bit. As you can see the differences. And of course, you could also see the fingerprint magnet that is the X1 Extreme Gen 3. Hopefully that new coating will be better. It does show some fingerprints, of course. But yes, so that will be very similar or almost identical physically. It will be physically identical to the P1 that we're going to take a look at. Are the Lenovo ThinkPads good for students? They're excellent for students because they're durable. They are great keyboards for typing. Great display options. They have light, they have the thin, they're light, depending on, of course, which model you go with. So there are a lot of offerings for students that you should take a look at. Steve, how you doing, Steve? Good to see you. Andrew, are you pumped for the Windows 11 reveal tomorrow? Yes, I am, and that's going to be, I believe, at is it 9 a.m. or 8 a.m.? I think it's 8 a.m. Eastern time. So is that 5 a.m. Pacific? I don't know what time it starts, but yes, I will be keying into that. I will be tuning into that. It's more ergonomic with a 10-key, less keyboard for longer sessions, especially for us software developers. Yeah, that makes sense, right? If you're a software developer, you want a more ergonomic. It's 8 a.m. Pacific. Thank you. That's right. I'm sorry. It's 8 a.m. Pacific. Thank you, Tech Realm. And I'm going to tune into it not as early as I just thought it was going to be, so it's even better. Yeah, so I'm excited to see it. I know we have a lot of leaked images and so forth, so we'll see how that's all going to play out once that's all said and done. So, again, I haven't used any of the leaked images. I really don't want to. I want to get the full experience of Windows 11 as it's supposed to be, like everybody else. So there you go. It's 1 a.m. in your area. I'm glad, Than, you were able to tune in. So I'm glad to see you. We now have 85 watching. We always gain a little momentum. We had a really, really good turnout this past Sunday for my coverage of the newly announced and released Dell XPS 15 and 17, the 9510 and the 9710 respectively. So it's in my video list, of course, so check it out. I kept it up as public. It's now approaching, I think, 12,000 views, which is good for a live stream, that's for sure. Seems like there's a lot of interest there. And then you're going to see something like this, of course. Physically, it's going to look the same. And those Dells are really, really good. Yeah, so David, check it out. It's there. It's all there. You can check it out. Not cut or anything. You can get all the information there. Dell has bad quality control, so bad I will never, ever buy Dell again. Okay, Than. If you feel that way. Yeah, they had some issues. We're not going to sugarcoat it. They had some issues with the launch of the XPS last year, especially with the 15 and somewhat with the 17, but not quite as bad. But they seem to have righted the ship from more or less, from what I understand. But hopefully we won't have that this year. They're showing that their shipping dates for the Dells are going to be in July. We're looking at, the last time we checked back on Sunday, shipping dates of July 15th for the XPS 17 9710, which is what you see, the successor to the one you see here. That's a 9700. And then, of course, July 23rd is showing, at least on Sunday it was showing, I don't know what it is now, for the Dell XPS 15 9510. That's also coming soon. So that's not too bad considering there's a lot of shortage everywhere. That's not a bad shipping times. Lenovo's quality control in China is also questionable. Well, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say they're all perfect. They're not. And Apple's not perfect, and neither is Razer. In fact, I reached out to Razer. They didn't get back to me at all. My reviews on those couple of laptops I did not do well. People didn't watch, so I'm not surprised that they're not returning my emails now. So, not surprised. All right, so this is going to be very interesting stuff right now, where we're at a good time when it comes to laptops. Hopefully, we won't see too many delays in terms of stock. Hopefully, they'll be able to ship these things on time, and I'm going to be getting some review units sooner rather than later. I did speak to both my contacts at Dell for the XPS stuff, and of course, my contacts at Lenovo. I'm ready for it. Sorry for the language, but shit happens in big projects. Not a problem. I just used the language. So there you go. This is a nighttime show, people, and it's 3 a.m. for Executor. Yeah, so it happens, right? And I'm not going to go crazy. Listen, if you get a problem, you return it, and there you go. And they tried to do the right thing. It wasn't like they left people high and dry. They did reply. I had a problem, but of course, then I got my review units, so I didn't really have the similar situation to the average consumer, but you can get my drift as far as, yeah, things happen. Your late shows are typically kickback tech comedy hour. Yeah, but I had too much to talk about tonight, so it's not. And I also wanted to drink tonight on this live stream, but I didn't have time because I was late coming back from work. We got a super chat, $5 from Frank Cortez. Thank you for that super chat, Frank. Thank you so much for all your hard work. Great channel. Thank you, my friend. That is much appreciated. Yeah, I'm going to drink some vodka. Sunday was Father's Day. We had a pool party here by my house. I had a little bit too much to drink, but let it loose a little bit. But it's good. It's good. Even at my old age, it's still good to have fun. What do you like? I'm not that old. Okay. What do you like most about the X1 Extreme, Arthur? Well, I like the move to a 16. There's a lot to like. Let's establish that. I like the move to a 16:10 aspect ratio. We now get a 16-inch display. That opens up a lot of possibilities there. I like the fact that now I have top-firing speakers. I like have potentially better sound than bottom-firing speakers. That's another key move. I like the move to replace the fingerprint scanner on the side. I didn't like the placement there. They're now moving it by the power button. That's going to be okay. But the big one is going to be also bigger battery. RTX 3080 is a big deal here. The move to a vapor chamber cooling, hopefully that will even things out in terms of thermals. We're going to see. So there you go. Okay. Fan, relax. It's just a brand. If you don't like it, it's just a brand. Duck Vision 16:10 CPU, GPU off the charts. Agreed. Speakers, all the port options, durability. Yeah, I mean, where do we start, right? This is all the things we love about the X1 Carbon or the X1 Extreme Gen 1, Gen 4, I should say, that is coming up. Keyboard, battery, vapor chamber. I mean, this is a big deal. Some new releases are not big improvements over the prior iteration. This is a big improvement because you're now going to see a lot of improvements from Gen 3 to Gen 4. And that to me is great. I like the possibilities of LTE. Yeah, that's another thing. It's going to be 5G. Not only you're limited to LTE, you now get 5G, which of course is backwards compatible to LTE. And of course, probably, William, the most important thing, yes, the full HD 1080p camera. Amen, brother. Amen. Fan, when I drink vodka, I curse every 2 seconds. Okay, Fan, take it easy. Take it easy, my friend, with the vodka, although I would like some as well. Yes, 5G Duck Vision is absolutely critical here. I love that. I think that's fantastic. So we have 72 watching right now. Only 59 likes. Again, you know what I want. Hit that like button. Let's get this spread out over YouTube. Good to see everybody. Those of you joining late, it's now 48 minutes into this live stream, a special edition here on Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021. We're now at 6:34 p.m. Pacific time. We're looking at the newly announced Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Extreme Gen 4, and I'm really liking it. And your Executor's more of a whiskey and mead kind of guy. So there you go. Does 5G drain the battery? Yes, it does, Arthur. So that will be something to consider. But having 5G, you don't have to turn it on. You can turn it off. Having the ability to be always connected wherever you go is fantastic. I love it. And I know you can tether your smartphone. You can do a hotspot. There's nothing like having it right there, ready to go, always on. You don't have to think about it. It's seamless. I can't play Stupid Crisis on my old effing laptop because my laptop GPU is... Okay, well, sorry to hear that. Okay. Is Gen 4 a larger form factor? So I think the other thing is a smaller form factor. From what I gather, and again, let me get the dimensions here. So we're looking at 3.99 pounds for the follow-up to this, which would be the Gen 4, and that would be 1.814 kilograms. 3.99 pounds, 1.814 kilograms. So that gives you a little bit of less weight. I think it was it 4? What was it last year, 4.2? I don't remember as far as pounds or kilograms. And then, of course, dimensions, we're looking at 359.5 by 253.8 by 19.9 millimeters. And for inches, that's 14.13 by 9.99 by 0.78. So those are the dimensions. And for those joining us late, if you want to take a look at the interior of it, of the internals, what's upgradable, there are 2 RAM slots. Those are 2 SODIMM slots, 2 SSD slots. There are up to 64 gigabytes of RAM, by the way, up to 4 terabyte total of storage and SSD, M.2 2280 PCIe NVMe SSD drives. All right. Yeah, this thing on paper looks amazing. It's pretty. That's why I needed to do a live stream today. This thing looks pretty amazing. All right. And of course, the better camera. What can I say, right, William? The better camera is going to be what we definitely want to see. I got so tired of seeing, and there you go. So, okay. So the Gen 3, but it starts at 3.75 pounds or 1.7 kilograms. This starts a little bit heavier, 3.99 pounds, 1.814 kilograms. I think the one that I have here is over 4 pounds because of the extras that this has, the OLED display, the touch layer. That definitely is over 4 pounds. Starting doesn't mean is what you're going to actually get. So keep that in mind. All right. All right. So a lot of work here for you guys. 76 watching. How's everybody doing? Good to see everybody. Smaller laptop. I don't know what the dimensions are. We saw the weight, 3.99 pounds, 1.81 kilograms or so. There we'll see. While the XPS bezels are, and we can take a look at it here, the XPS bezels are thinner. I have the opinion that at a certain point, people don't care anymore. The smartphone market was competing on this a couple of years ago. And I actually, that's a great point, Executor. Definitely agree with you on that. At some point, the bezels can get just so thin. Now, I got to say, when you look at the Dell XPS 15 on the left, or even on my other desk there, you see the XPS 17, it is absolutely gorgeous. Welcome to the show, Sullen Day. You can get to the beginning of this on the replay, of course. All right. So this is pretty exciting. Connectivity that we talked about. Let's just make sure we talked about. It is 5G sub 6 gigahertz, by the way. It's 5G sub 6 gigahertz, for those wondering. Intel AX210 2x2 Wi-Fi 6E, so that's going to be good. Bluetooth 5.2, just for those wondering. Now, as far as security is concerned, I know some of you are concerned about security. Power on MOC touch fingerprint reader, that's great. IR camera plus webcam privacy shutter, DTPM 2.0 chip, Intel hardware shield, the Kensington lock slot, and of course, the Intel remote security erase. So that is going to be supported as well. So if you have to wipe it remotely through Intel's remote service, there you go. The colors, by the way, are deep black. And then, of course, you can get the black woven carbon fiber or the woven carbon fiber if you go with the UHD Plus option. I don't think it's available on the QHD Plus, from what I understand. So, all right, there you go. And it does have NFC. I'm looking at it. But that is pretty much it. That's the, you get a 1-year warranty. You could get it with the direct 24/7 365 access to the Lenovo's elite engineers who will provide unscripted troubleshooting and comprehensive support for hardware and software. That means less downtime and increased productivity. Well, we'll see, right? We'll see how that all goes. We know how that goes with support, and we'll see. So, any other questions? I got to get to you. No Ryzen model. That is correct. There is the L13 that got announced today with AMD Ryzens. We may have to talk about it on the next show. Morning from Hong Kong. Fahim, how are you, my friend? Bluetooth 5.2. That is correct. Will the Wi-Fi card be baked on as well? Let's take a look. That's a good question. Let's see if we can tell from this image here. And I don't see, oh, it looks like it's soldered in on the left there. You can see it there. It looks like it's soldered in. It's not going to be upgradable. Again, they're keeping this pretty thin, so I'm not going to ding them too hard. It is Wi-Fi 6E, so I have no issues really. I'm not going to ding them too hard. The port selection on this has been pretty amazing. So there you go. Okay, the graphic card, we've already gone over at Reno. You can get it with up to an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3080. Again, you could also get this with a 230-watt power adapter to power this thing because it's going to need it with that kind of graphics card. It is pretty impressive, people, on paper. I'm very excited about this, this offering. No, sorry, no steak for you, but we can serve you a Big Mac when you hear the Ryzen is only on the L14. You know, it is what it is. Yeah, the L14. It is what it is, my friend. And I've talked about it. We've talked about it. There's no supply. Let's just be real here. They can't keep up with the supply. The whole world is in a shortage. And I guess that's one of the reasons why a Dell or Lenovo or any of these OEMs are going to not put it in their flagship, because what's the point of announcing something if you can't get it? I guess the Intel is more available. That's just my guess. I don't have any inside information as to why there's no variant with AMD. There could be a whole other reasons why, but it's all speculation. How worried am I about the thermals? Well, it's going to have this vapor chamber cooling, as you see here. So that may be a big deal. I don't know until I test it, but vapor chamber cooling will definitely be an upgrade over the previous model's thermal solution, which wasn't great to begin with. Remember, it got a bit warm, obviously, to say the least. The Wi-Fi card will work through the life of the PC. Upgrading probably makes little sense. That is a very good point, William. Great you brought that up. Any thought about battery life? You know, here's the thing. They're saying 10 hours. I'm sorry. They're saying 10 hours on a 90-watt-hour battery. Considering the increased power over the Gen 3 that you see here, I'm not going to think this is going to be that great in terms of battery life, to be honest. If you can get 6 to 7 hours, I think that's a bonus. I'm not expecting all-day battery life. But again, I could be wrong, because you're now getting some increased power, especially with the GPU option. So 10, yeah, and of course, take it for what it is. They're saying it with the Mobile Mark 18 score, they're getting up to 10 hours. Again, until we get it in, you know the deal, people. We won't know until I do my testing. Just depends on the wattage spec that they give the CPU and the GPU. That is correct, Duck Vision. That definitely plays a lot into that. Is there an OLED model? Fahim, there is no OLED model, as I mentioned. You can get it with IPS displays. These are 16:10 aspect ratio QHD plus to start. 16-inch displays, 2560 by 1600. That is a 4-inch nit option. And then you can go with the UHD plus, which is a 3840 by 2400. Non-touch, and then there's a touch variant of that. These are Dolby Vision displays, 60 hertz. They all the models have low blue light filters, which of course is good. It's never true. I would say Apple's probably the closest to reality. They're pretty on par. So, you know, there you go. I wonder, according to Matthew, I wonder if the reduced key travel like the X1 Carbon, they're showing 1.5 on their specs. So I don't know. We'll see. The key travel on this is absolutely spectacular. I don't know if it's less than this. I don't remember what this is. Is this 1.7 or 1.8? I don't know. I don't remember. But I can tell you, looking at it, feeling it, it's fantastic. So far, the only 16:10 OLED option is the Dell XPS 15, and that is correct. That is a 3.5, and that will be on this model, the follow-up to this model, which is, of course, a 3.5 OLED display. It's not going to be 4K, but that is the only one so far who's been able to do that, right? And I'll be getting that hopefully soon into the studio to test out. The other OLED model, of course, was the Dell XPS 9310 that I just recently took a look at. Take a look at it. I think I got about 40 or 50,000 views on that. It's on my channel if you're curious to see an absolutely stunning gorgeous display. That is pretty spectacular, I got to say that. And it's hard to show it in a video. It really is something special. That there's no question. So 6 to 7 hours, most likely. I would say that's a pretty good estimate. Take whatever the company says and cut it down by 25 to 35%. That is probably a good rule of thumb. That's a pretty good rule of thumb. Why? Okay, and then according to Brandon, why do we no longer get awesome speakers and laptops when phones and XPS of the past have great sound? So this has really good sound. So this one, the XPS 15, has really good sound. This one, which is the Dell XPS 17 on my other desk here, has good sound. Although I think the 15, strangely enough, does sound a little bit better. This not quite as good, although they will have improved speakers on the Gen 4, which is going to have top-firing speakers, which hopefully are improved. I anticipate it will be. Is the self-upgradable of the ThinkPad dead? Like the keyboard, screen, etc.? Well, this is upgradable. I showed you this. Is a so the keyboard, as far as upgrading that, I don't think you can upgrade a keyboard, but you can upgrade the RAM, the SSD, the battery, theoretically, I guess, and then the Wi-Fi card, no, the Bluetooth card, no, which is a combo. So no, so you can only do those things. What would you do? What would you spec the Gen 4 with? Me, personally, I would go with the, well, if it was up to me and money was not an issue, I'd go with the Core i9 V Pro 8 Series RTX 3080 with the UHD Plus touch display. I mean, I would spec it out. But if money was an issue, the middle ground might be good. Maybe the 3060 or the 3070 GPU. Core i7 is fine for most people. And that is a good combination. You probably do better, a little bit better on battery life, save a little bit on the heat as well. That's probably the one I would go with if money was an issue. But if money was no issue, I'd spec the hell out of it. Why not? You know, and I'm hoping they'll send me a pretty spec'd out review unit. We'll see. How much smaller is the touchpad on the new IBM compared to the Dell you're showing? So, William, okay, so IBM is no longer involved with the ThinkPad line, but I understand what you're saying. So key travel wise, so if you look at this is very good. I love the Dell XPS 15 key travel. On the ThinkPad, it's a little bit better, a little bit more satisfying. Although these are excellent keyboards, I'm going to give the nod to the Extreme X1 Extreme Gen 3. And again, I don't know what the new one will have. They're saying 1.5 millimeters of key travel. They're giving you a wider touchpad, by the way, on the new one, according to this, 115 by 67 millimeters. So it's going to be bigger than this touchpad that you see there. Fan, keep it, you know what? The cursing is funny for once or twice, but keep it, you got to control yourself. You know, it's not a good look, my friend. Stop with the cursing, okay? Just cursing for the sake of cursing is not fun. I'll curse every now and then to make a point, but to curse without any kind of basis behind it or any kind of reason behind it is kind of like not a good look, my friend. So stop cursing. Okay, let's keep this orderly. You know I like you, fam, but you know, don't do that. How are the thermals? Well, we're going to see vapor chamber cooling now. We see it here in this diagram. i7 according to, so this is the one you would go with, Executor Raptor. RTX 3060, 16, 1 terabyte, i7, and you're going to save some money in that. Again, not cheap. These are not cheap, but nobody ever said they were going to be cheap. Since the Extreme has been updated to 16 inches with a top-of-the-line GPU, do you think that the 14-inch X1 Carbon may come with a better discrete graphics? Well, they don't have a discrete graphics, as you know. You can get that in the T14 Gen 2 that I just took a look at, but you cannot get a discrete graphics card with the X1 Extreme Gen 9. Whether that changes next year, that's a whole nother ballgame. But so far, we can only get integrated XE graphics. And as far as integrated graphics are concerned, that's actually pretty good. And I showed you the numbers in my reviews, so check it out. But right now, on that 14-inch X1 Carbon, Gen 9, no discrete GPU option. Umar is saying I would go with the i7 RTX 3060 UHD plus, 64 gigs of RAM, 2 terabytes of SSD. There's another way to go. X1 Carbon is just too thin. I agree, Duck Vision. It's too thin to have a discrete GPU and keep the thermals within manageable range, right? I kind of wish I had a drink right now. I kind of need a drink. All right. So Tony Tech is saying the ThinkPad X1 Extreme Gen 4 versus the P1 Gen 4, which I hopefully will get both in shortly. The only differences I see are the option for the Xeon CPUs, the ECC memory. That is true. This has non-ECC. The P1 will have ECC option. And the NVIDIA RTX Quadro GPUs on the P1. I think you pretty much nailed it on the head, Tony. Good job. Matthew's saying get some Tito's vodka. That doesn't sound too bad, my friend. That doesn't sound too bad. And with all the cursing that Fan was doing, I kind of need it. Okay. Kidding, Fan. All right, so we're back in the comedy hour. If I only remember which is my laughter button. I don't know what this is. This is probably not it. Let me put on my headphones for a second. Yeah, that's the laughter. I don't feel like wearing headphones, so I don't know what's what. Are there any issues with the audio drivers on the Gen 3 or the Gen 4? I don't remember any issues on the Gen 3, which you see here. And on Gen 4, we don't know because we don't have the Gen 4 yet, right? So that's just been announced today, so we'll see. You like that, Umar? Welcome to the Comedy Hour from AMD Tech. How are you, my friends? All right. All right. Okay. Yeah, I definitely need a drink. I'm tired. We got 79 of you watching. For those joining late, it's Andrew. How is everybody doing? We just took a look at the newly announced, or we talked about the newly announced X1 Extreme Gen 4. This is a very, very exciting. You know, that's a good question. Let me go to the website on Lenovo. Let me see the specs on the ThinkPad X1 Extreme Gen 3 weight. So let's see. So they're saying here 3.75 pounds starting, 1.7 kilograms. And again, we're seeing 3.99 on the 3.99 pounds or 1.81 kilograms on the Gen 4. So a little bit heavier to start with the Gen 4. So a little bit heavier, but again, vapor chamber cooling. You now have a more robust GPU options, of course, so that might account for that as well. You also have a 16-inch display, so a little bit bigger display or bigger dimensions in terms of the display. You move to a 16:10 aspect ratio, so not a big difference in terms of weight. We should do these live streams with some drink to have a better perspective. Yes, especially me. I need a drink. So when will we see better webcams? Well, this is going to be a good one. This should be a good one from my briefing with Lenovo. 1080p, full HD webcam on this. It's going to be better than this one. This one wasn't good. I don't even remember what it was like. Let me see here. So let's turn on the webcam just to get a sense of what we were dealing with last year. And it'll be better on the new one, that's for sure. It's not terrible. I mean, it's obviously grainy. It's also a very glossy OLED display. But you can see here, and again, because of the positioning, I have to keep it this angle. There you go. What about the power brick weight? I don't know if they say what it is. And they're not the slimmest. I mean, they're not terrible either. Especially if you're going to go with the bigger one. I'm sure it's going to have a little bit of heft to it. Let me see if they don't say what the weight of that power adapter is. I'll measure it when I get my review unit in. That should be interesting. 1080p should be the standard. Yeah, so this is 720p, and I anticipate much better on the new one, which they're going to go the full HD as opposed to a regular HD. Let me see here. So yeah, 720p is the highest that this one can go. So there you go. What are the upgrades from any common complaints from Gen 2? Well, I don't know if you mean Gen 3, which is what we have here. 16 to 9 is the big one. They wanted a better webcam. They wanted to go to 16 to 10, as I mentioned. Maybe a bigger battery would have been good. Maybe vapor chamber cooling, which is what we're going to get to improve the thermals, among other things. Those are the big complaints that we heard over the course of the past year. Are they slimming down the bezels for the 16 to 10? Yeah. So you're going to now see a 16-inch display. This is a 15.6 inch. We can turn off the webcam. Not necessary to look at it all day. Oh, you have the Gen 2. So Gen 2 would be even more probably over. There wasn't a huge difference between Gen 2 and Gen 3. You'll see more of a difference from Gen 3 to Gen 4. A bigger upgrade, obviously. So we need, okay, what are you saying here? Power brick. So according to Duck, the power brick is going to depend on the GPU choice. They have 3 sizes. That is correct. 135 watts, 170 watts, 230 watts. So again, depends. According to Brandon Tobias, we need the quality of mobile phone selfie cams on laptops. I mean, Apple got an ultra-wide cam with face tracking on an iPad, so we need this on a Windows because it's coming to the Mac. Right, we've been hearing that for a while. It's still not there on the Mac yet, but yes, I would love to see something like a better quality. And we are starting to see better webcams, as I showed you with the HP Elite Dragonfly Max, which has that 1080p 5 megapixel, or is it 1440p? One of them. But anyway, it was a higher resolution camera, and it was a much better camera. And we're going to start to see it. And again, with the Gen 4 also, we're going to see a better camera on that. But having a smartphone camera on it, they can do it. I just don't know what the cost is going to be. It's one thing to do it for a smartphone. It's another thing to do it for a laptop, I guess, price-wise, I guess, and supply issues. That's the other thing. As we're in a shortage on most things like chips and so forth, it's also going to play a factor. Good to see the poets in the house. How are you doing, son? I saw the X1 Extreme at the Pepcom event today. That's great. Grabbed my eye, and it's going to a 3080. Seems interesting. Yeah, so that is a very good move, I think, to 3080. Again, the question is going to be, is it going to be able to have the thermal capacity to handle that kind of GPU? And I think the move to the vapor chamber cooling, as you see here, definitely helps. So we'll see. We'll see. So there was a Pepcom event. I didn't go. I didn't check it out. Was that virtual or was it live? I probably would imagine that it's virtual. But yeah, so that's the whole key with this is the thermals. Are you going to be able to have the thermals work out the way we want to with such a thin and light chassis while having the power to do everything without throttling it down? That's going to be the balancing act. Is Gen 4 using a Ryzen CPU? No Ryzen option, at least not yet, that they said. Yeah, it was a virtual event. I've done a lot of these Pepcoms, especially with CES and so forth. I think I attended the one from this past CES virtually. It was not quite as good as, of course, being at the actual live events, but you can do what you only can do. All right, so which do you like most? Dell XPS 15, smaller but heavier, versus the Gen 4, larger but lighter. All right, so, it's just a matter of what you like. So, smaller, so the Dell XPS 15 is smaller, obviously. You can see the thinner bezels. It's in a smaller frame, a smaller footprint. And this is going to be more or less similar to what we're going to see, although this will have a 16-inch display with a 16 to 10 aspect ratio. It just depends. I kind of am blown away by the spec sheet on this one, the upcoming Gen 4, especially with that vapor chamber cooling, is basically the same as a CPU heatsink that people are familiar with in desktop PCs. And it'll help. I think it definitely will help if they implement it right? If they do it the right way. But we'll see. Again, the proof will always be in the pudding. What are the results going to be when we do get it in real world usage? Just curious, do you remember the X1 Carbon Gen 2 or 3 did it have had like a touch bar thing? Yeah, that was the touch bar thing was like wasn't that in the Carbon line, right? Remember, was it like Gen 2, I think, of the Carbon, or Gen 3? I remember that, and they got rid of that pretty quickly. XPS seems to lean more towards entertainment. Yeah, it is a consumer-focused product, whereas the Lenovo here is a more business-focused. Exactly, right? Yeah, so that's a good point, Duck Vision. I think you hit it right on the head on that one. So, yes. Yeah, let's see. So far, we got 80 people watching, but we only have 79 likes. So 84 watching. Hit that like button, people. Let's get this spread out. Come on. We're now at an hour and 16 minutes. I don't know how much longer we're going to go tonight. It was a long day, but I wanted to make sure we talked about this because, to me, this is an important one because I'm looking at some of this. Some of the specs on the sheet that they gave us, the press, and I gotta say, impressive stuff here. If they can pull this one off, we might have the laptop of the year. And I'm not kidding. Between the 3080 GPU, having a full HD webcam, to having vapor chamber cooling, to having a 16-inch 16:10 display, UHD plus, touch display. I mean, they pretty much packed everything in the kitchen sink here. Upgradability, which is good as far as RAM and the SSDs. 5G connectivity. Wow. I mean, just the laundry list of what we want to see. It's the who's who of upgrades, right? So it really is good. Now, the only thing we're not seeing is an AMD version. And again, to not belabor the point, the reason we're not seeing the AMD, a couple of things. AMD, I don't know if they're going to put this in a flagship, you got to be able to produce this stuff. And right now, you can't get these chips anywhere. And then the other thing is, you got to have Thunderbolt support. I know people don't, they poo-poo that. They say, we don't need it. It is important for some businesses, and that's the people who buy these things. All right, so DePost is saying at PepCom, they went over the Legion 5 Pro and the 7. The 7 also has a vapor chamber. And I don't know if we're going to see that here in the U.S., but I hope we will. I hope we do get to see that here. The Legion 5 Pro and the 5 and the 7. That would be great. What did I just review? I just did with the AMD. I did the 5. What did I do? I just did one, right? I did the 7 Pro. I don't remember what I did. It's on my channel, but I just did one. Okay, so this is going to be the best laptop of 2021. Diego, I gotta say, I agree with you. On paper, again, it's a big difference between real life and on paper, but on paper, people, this is looking like this is it. This and the Dell, I don't know. They're looking good, but this is a bigger upgrade, in my opinion, than the Dell, because the Dell's more of an iterative update internally. This goes even beyond that. We'll see. What is the release date? So they're saying August of 2021, so they're going to be available in August. You can't get it just yet. And they're going to start at around $2,200, $2,300, something like that. I'm watching using the X1 Fold. Yeah, so I never got a chance to use that. But how do you like it, the poets? You like that X1 Fold? I was supposed to get a review unit from Lenovo, but for whatever reason, and it just never came to fruition. I got other stuff from them. I just never got that. Maybe they didn't want to send it to me because I would bash it. I don't know. Who knows why? But if you like the X1 Fold, and to me, the concept, I'm a big Fold person. I like that concept. New MacBook is coming, dude. Yeah, we don't have it yet. So it will be coming. We'll talk about it. I'm watching using the ThinkPad W530. Is that an old one or what? I don't remember that one. Probably is. TSMC is full of workload plus the water shortage in Taiwan. Forget about AMD chips. Yeah, there you go. I mean, I love AMD. It's my name, right? It's my name. So there you go. It's a very old one. Your Samsung Fold experience scared them off. Yeah. And for those that want to know what happened, long story short, it's on my channel. You can check it out on my playlist. But I did get my money back from Samsung, $23 or whatever $100 it was that I paid for the phone. Whole fiasco. I'm now going to wait to see about the Fold 3, even though I probably shouldn't. I should stay away from anything Samsung at this point. And by the way, I have that video ready to go on the Samsung Galaxy Book Pro 360, rather. That's going to drop probably the next day. You killed the fold. Yeah. I used it for 7 months and it started to crack by the crease. And there was a line just kept getting worse and worse. And 7 months, not even as my daily driver. I did use it quite a bit as a secondary device because I use my Pixel 5. But it kept getting worse and worse. And so I did send it in. They did allegedly repair it, but I never got to see it because they used UPS. UPS lost it. And then it took about 2 months. But finally, I was able to get my money back. Talking about stuff that is better, but you can't get is like talking about your Ferrari, but don't have a driver's license. That's a good analogy. Yeah, Umar, you'll see it in my review, but I love the AMOLED displays, but just too dim for my liking. And I'll be honest with you, having used 16:10 displays, 16:9, that 16:9 is dated to me. The foldables are not ready yet. It wasn't ready, and I agree. Kevin Hart voice. Yeah, it wasn't ready. I guess it wasn't, but I'm of course a early adopter. And I like the foldable concept, right? I like that. I even got the Microsoft Surface Duo, and I liked it, but a lot of people didn't. All right, you would think that Samsung producing the OLED panels, they would put their best they got on their own laptops. Very, very surprising. I was disappointed, and it just didn't get bright enough. And I like my displays extremely bright, and especially when you have a potentially great display that they have with the Super AMOLED display, they tempered it down on purpose. There was no reason to make it that dim. Now, battery life, they got killed, remember, on that beautiful red Chromebook that they produced, the Samsung Chromebook in that fire red, which looked gorgeous, but it took a hit in battery life. Here, I guess they were so shell-shocked from that they really went overboard with that. Samsung makes great phones. I don't know why they can't shoot out great laptops or good speakers. I agree. It just doesn't make sense. Manuel saying, I think HP's struggling to compete with flagship laptop lineup. I don't know about that. Maybe flagship, yes, but I think they nailed the mid-range to the higher end mid-range. I have the HP NV17. I'm going to release that tomorrow. I have it here, but I don't know if I should show it today because I want to keep it on point. But my point is they're making some great hardware, and they don't necessarily have to break the bank. Check that out. It's going to be the HP NV17. I should release that tomorrow if I can get my voiceover done. What do you think is the next for the Surface Pro line with all the competition with the new M1 12.9 iPad Pros? So is it really a competition? Because the M1 iPad Pros don't take advantage of the chip that's inside it. There are no professional grade apps. I mean, with a few like LumaFusion, I guess, but really there is nothing there that would take advantage of that. So I don't know where this all comes in. As far as the Surface line, we should see the Surface Pro 8 by the fall, from what I'm hearing. So we'll see. The speakers on the Samsung Galaxy Book S are surprisingly good. I do have to give them credit for that. I wonder how all the speakers are on the new lineup of the Samsung just released. They're not that great, to be honest, Depo. It's a little bit disappointing. It could have been better. You would think that they would. So there you go. I just got something from Google today, and you probably, I was hoping it would be a phone, but it's not. Let's see what maybe I can open it up now. So this came from the Team Pixel. Let's see what it is. Hold on, let me get my knife. We can do a little unboxing here. While I have everybody here, let's see what these are. Let's put these over here, and then it's from Team Pixel. So I was hoping it would be a phone, but I doubt it. Yeah, it's these are the Pixel Buds A series. Okay. Everybody's so excited, huh? I was like, oh, what did come from Team Pixel? This is the A series. And there they are. Maybe I'll do a giveaway of these. Who knows if I'm going to even use them. And I'm sure they're good. Let's see. So, I don't know anything about them. Dark olive is the color. How do I open this thing? Okay. So it comes in a nice case, like the your AirPods, and you can see it here. A little impromptu unboxing here. Is anybody spamming? Stop the spamming. I'll take the buds if you don't want them. I don't know. Maybe I will like them. But I haven't really reviewed much phones lately or any kind of accessories like this. And there they are. If we can get in focus here. There we go. And then you can see it here. And they look pretty good. I'll play with these, see what they are. Maybe I will do a giveaway on them. Because I use my Soundcore Liberty Pros or whatever they're called. All right, we got another super chat from ER Pro. Mark, tell us more about yourself. What's up in your life? Well, where do we begin? There's a lot to talk about. I don't really like to talk too much about myself, but I've been around a while, as you know, and not much is going on. I'm working hard, trying to get the channel to grow. It's kind of challenging lately. We got about 100. We're going to hit 114,000 subscribers, so that's good. All right, it looks like Eva in movie Wall-E. What are you talking about? Okay. Gotcha. I'm all in on AMD ready. So USB 4, not eGPU or not, with RDNA mobile iGPU. Wow, my next ThinkPad will be 10-year machine. Okay, there you go. So these look pretty interesting. And then you can see it here. And there you go. These look pretty interesting, I got to say. I'll test these out, but that's what they sent over. So, thank you, Google. Thank you, Team Pixel. Thank you, Team Pixel. All right. That took care of that. The movie Wall-E, I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever seen it. Maybe I have. It's like animated, right? Andrew, you've never seen the movie Wall-E? I don't think I did, no. Okay. And there's a character in the movie Wall-E. All right. Oh, so this looks like Eva from Wall-E or something, I guess. I don't know. I got to check it out. I don't watch TV. I don't have time for like movies even. You know, I probably should be more up to date on this stuff. We got 106 of you watching, only 97 likes. Let's hit the 100. Come on. We're almost there. We're almost there. Hell yeah, I watched The Godfather. Forget about it. Come on. What do you think I am? I'm from New York, my friend. Forget about it. Getting excited. Not for nothing. You know I'm from New York. You know? All right. There we go. And here the comedy hour once again has begun. Excited on the T14S Gen 2 AMD. I don't have that. I just did the T14, not the S. And that is available in both Intel and AMD. I got the Intel. AMD is very expensive on that one. It's showing starting at $2,000. And we hit the 100. All right. All right, my people. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. We're now 101. We got 115. Okay, I think you missed my question, but I'll ask it again. Sorry, Doc. I'll do doing the best I can. Did HP ever get back to you regarding the Intel version of the NV15 with the OLED panel? So the Intel version of the NV15 with the OLED panel. No, you know what? I don't remember. They might have. I'll look into that again. I'm sorry. I remember there was an issue with that. I remember now. I don't know if they did get back to me, to be honest. Probably if they did, I would have told you. So thanks for reminding me of that. But no, I don't know any information on that just yet. Hey, Andrew, does Yoga 9i have Wi-Fi issues and screen flickering? I was going to purchase one, but a majority of the reviews covered those problems. I don't remember that being an issue on my unit, so I don't know. It just didn't happen on my review unit. No worries. I know you can't see everything on the chat. Yeah, I know. And the thing is, you know, I got to figure things out with maybe getting a producer to work here. I don't know. I'm hiring 2 editors, I think, to help me with the videos because I'm so freaking behind. It's ridiculous. I need help. It's hard when you're working a full-time job, and this is full-time as it is. The channel's growing. I can't wait to keep taking this to the next level. We can't stop now. We're knee deep into this stuff, right? So, all right. Well, what time? It's an hour and a half. We normally don't go more than an hour and a half, but I think we've covered pretty much everything we were going to cover tonight. We do have 100 of you and 109 watching, so that's good. Is there any other questions before we call it a day? And got to get a sidekick. Yeah, I do. We got another super chat. Where is it? I got a super chat. There we go. From Executor Raptor. And that's 50 NOK. All right. Any thoughts about a white extreme? Oh, that would be interesting. Any other color that you would like? Pink, orange, gray. I kind of like that frost white type of the Dell. That would be interesting on something like this. Could you imagine that? That would be great. You know, they do make a frost white on the Dell XPS 15. It would look pretty interesting on something like the Extreme, but this does connect. This one does get fingerprints, as you can see. I'll never get that off for now. All right. Like I've said before, I wish Lenovo made an Extreme in white. Yes, I remember you saying that, Doc. I remember that last year, if I remember correctly. Unfortunately, Super Chat is not available, but don't worry, Wi-Fi cheesy. Just you watching is enough for me, my friend. Thank you. Appreciate it. I just like hanging out with everybody. A lot of people would buy a white one. Slim 7 Pro deep new review. So I did the Slim 7 Pro. I still have it here. I should have to give it back, but they never said anything yet. I probably should remind them. I will, maybe I will do a follow-up after, this is a few months already with it. I absolutely love it, by the way. Not available in the U.S., but it is in Europe, from what I understand. But I don't know if it's what availability as far as stock. Would you take the Asus ROG Zephyrus M16 over the X1 Extreme Gen 4? The 16, I've spoken to Asus. They're sending me some stuff coming Friday. I don't think that's one of them, unfortunately, but depends, right? But this, I got to say, this X1 Extreme Gen 4 is looking like a real beast. It's going to be one of the best of the year. If it's anything like it's on paper, what it's showing, I think they might have swung for the fences, and there's a potential here for a home run, maybe even a grand slam. So we'll see. For those who like baseball. Bless you too, Wi-Fi cheese. Bless you too. All right. What laptop would you recommend around $2,000 for engineering students? I was focused on the XPS 13 and Lenovo 9i, and what should I choose among them? So you're engineering, why not look at a ThinkPad, right, that has a discrete GPU? Maybe the X1 Extreme Gen 4 might be the one, and that's going to come in starting at around $2,300. That might be better than that. So maybe a little bit heavier, but a lot more power. So maybe something to consider. Hi to Professional Noob. How are you, my friend? Yeah, don't spam, but would you try to review the Sony Xperia 1 Mark III? Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to do that kind of stuff. To do it, I'd have to go out of pocket because Sony's not sending me anything. But you never know. I can look into that. Thanks for answering my question. Did I? Okay. Executor at Lenovo, boss, where the heck is the prototype, guys? Shh, it's here. It's back here. Yeah, didn't you send it to that guy in the U.S.? You know, that's a good point. Executor, let's keep it on the low down, the down low. All right. I would prefer the ThinkPad. Servicing parts availability is much better versus the Asus. Yeah, I agree. And I think they're a bigger company, that's for sure. Might be better off, yeah. Have you tried the Yoga Slim 7i Carbon? I did not. It looks great. I've not used it. I don't even think they sell it in the US yet. They don't. ThinkPad P. For engineers, yes, the P series as engineers would be great. That would be great. AMD ThinkPad, they do make, remember, the T14S does come as an AMD variant. The T14 is an AMD variant. So there are some choices right now, but not in the X1 Extreme Gen 3. That's not what we get. 110 of you watching. All right. The X1 Extreme will be available in the US, right? Yes, it will. That's the only thing I know about, actually. I don't know about Europe. I don't know about anywhere other than the United States. Even Canada, I don't know. I just go know according to what they said. ETA is going to be August, according to Lenovo. So sometime in August. And a starting price of around $2,200, $2,300, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe $2,400. I don't remember. I think they mentioned that, but I don't remember the exact number. If the Slim 7 Pro is in white carbon also, wow, that would be fantastic. That would look nice too. I have it here somewhere, that prototype. I should keep it quiet. We got to send it back, but they never sent me the label or whatever. Okay. But I will send it back because I don't like keeping the stuff longer than I'm supposed to. Although they didn't say anything, so who knows? I'm probably the only one in the U.S. who has it, so I'm pretty sure about that. How about the olive green? That is nice. We got an olive green in this with what they sent me here from Google's Team Pixel. These buds, they're like green, like forest green or whatever they're calling it. Looks pretty interesting. Well, it was a pretty good live stream today, people. I want to thank everybody. Let's see where we are. 106. I think this is a good stopping point. So let's start wrapping it up now. Let me put the music. I want to thank all the moderators for doing a great job tonight. I think we only had a few moderators, but Duck Vision was here. I know that for sure. William was here and all the others, but I want to thank everybody, and I want to thank everybody for stopping by. It was a very good live stream, and it was pretty orderly until Fan just started to go on a tirade with the cursing for no reason. But other than that, I think we did pretty well. And I want to welcome Pseudo, who just subbed to the channel, my friend. Thank you so much. Quality vids, great person. I appreciate it. More to come, people. So this was a special live stream here to talk about the Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Extreme Gen 4. Very excited. As you can tell, I am excited. We'll be getting a review unit hopefully soon. Stay tuned for that. I got a lot coming up. I got the HP NV17, hopefully tomorrow. Time to sleep, that is correct. Executor Raptor. I will see everybody in the next video. Until then, bye-bye.